chance. That's what you got. War against a machine too strong. Pretty politicians buying souls for song puppets. Won't find their place in line. But I strike a retro finger now, boy, 'cause it's just a matter of time. 'Cause you got no chance. No chance in hell. 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 Come on, come and get it. Come on. Welcome everyone to the TCAA Bowl Game Show. I am your Commish Bromy. Hope everyone is getting ready for this holiday week as we've got Christmas just around the corner. We had our first set of bowl games this past week. We got, the big bowl games as well coming up this coming week, starting tomorrow with the Thursday night games. COVID's really starting to mess some things up here. So we'll do the same thing like we did this past week for these bowl weeks as well. If you think you got a player in trouble, start it up. But I'll post about that tomorrow at some point or early morning about the bowl game substitutions. And but first thing I do want to do is I want to kind of go over some stuff that went on this past couple of days. A lot of chatter going on the band app about a situation that had occurred and about bowl game that was created last week by the bowl game committee. It's got a lot of attention. Unfortunately, it got attention late in the week of football, so it sparked up a lot of debates. And so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about all of that right now. So first things first. Matter was brought to my attention late Sunday night by a president, and we had a private chat. Told him how the bowl game came into existence and what happened and why we chose it this way. It was unanimous through the committee. No one complained about it at all after it was announced, so I didn't think there'd be no issues at all. We thought it was the right thing to do as the committee. Is it not done during the off season like normally we do when we do and create things? Yeah, that's correct. It was even discussed in the weekly show when we did the bowl game selection show. If we created this bowl, what do we do? Because money is already accounted for. And so we felt what we did with the recruiting points is right. So, anywho, when I was explaining what happened and how it came about, I told the president that I understand the situation. I understand why he is upset about the situation, why, he thinks certain things should be happening. I told him there's nothing we can do about it this year. We made our decision. I'm not going to take money away from anybody because we created this bowl game. It's not fair to anybody else. So we did what we thought was right as a committee. So, and once again, no objections at all after everything was posted. Wasn't until at the very end of the week's Sunday night's games before it got attention around 9 p.m. that night, maybe about 8:30. So anywho, I wanted to keep it private, just between us. I did discuss a little bit with the committee, let them know what was going on. And then unfortunately, the person decided to make it public and air their grievances on the band app, on the thread. That's their choice. I wouldn't have wanted to have done it that way. I would rather have kept it, in-house and private and not have it get out to the league completely of the issues at hand, because I felt like we could just easily, discuss it privately. But that's not the way it happened. So a lot of chat, a lot of discussions going on. So a lot of opinions, a lot of things. But here's the deal. So the TCAA, obviously, we try to emulate as much as possible as college football. We recruit, we do rankings, we have conferences, school names, all that stuff. Nowhere ever did we state, and nowhere in the rules, is a conference champion automatically in one of the big bowl games, or any bowl game for that matter. The criteria is 6 wins to get into a bowl game. And that was what makes you at least eligible. Doesn't guarantee anything for you. Conference champions doesn't guarantee anything for you. If anything, it helps you if you're going to be in one of the playoff games. Obviously, that creates a little bit more weight for you. I stated in our chat originally that we could look into, and I even want to think maybe it was even in when we did the committee show last week, that we can look into how can we better improve the bowl system, because with this new conference, it did create this little bit of a dilemma. But I also don't believe we ever had 2 conference champions go into conference championship week at 5 wins and win their conference with 6 wins. The bare, minimum you can get into a bowl game. So more schools, more possibilities of schools being able to have better records. Amazingly enough, their only school besides the conference champion in the new conference of Mountain 6 was Kentucky that had a record eligible to even be in a bowl game. So I'm not too sure exactly what big of a difference the conference made, except it allowed more wins for other schools, obviously, because they didn't do all that well in general outside of their conference. But regardless of that, I said we can discuss. I'll bring it into the off-season, postseason discussions and voting and stuff with the league about, let's see what we can do if we guarantee conference champions are in a bowl game, create tie-ins and stuff like that to bowl games. We need to create another one to do it that way, redo some of these bowl structures. That's what I said. There's no lie, transparent. I'm fine with it. To take it a step further. And so here's the decision. There is no money going to this new bowl game for this season. We can make changes for the next season, but this season, it's staying how it is. The winner of that game, the recruiting bowl game, is going to get the recruiting points. There is no another school. If they want to give up their money, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give their money to the winner of the recruiting bowl game. It's not fair to them. And I don't think it is any reason for that to occur. So pretty much it is what it is. The way it's set up, the way we discussed about it, that's how it's going to be. There are no changes to payouts. There are no changes to what we did. It can be a discussion for next season, but what we felt was right to allow these 2 conference champions who would not have made it in their conference champion into even bowl games without that win of their conference title to play for recruiting points. So I consider this a closed matter. We can bring it back up again during the off season about changing, maybe making the recruiting bowl the toilet bowl instead, and the toilet bowl not getting money, and instead, renaming that one, and the recruiting bowl can be the toilet bowl. And for that one, they get recruiting points instead of cash back. We can discuss that. But at this moment, at this time, it stands. I'm not changing anything. So if that means we lose a president or 2, it is what it is. But we're not going to change it. So that's the end of that. You guys want to discuss it more on the band app, go right ahead, be my guest. But that's the decision. Nothing's changing. The recruiting points are going to that winner, whether they stay with the league or not. And no one's, I'm not switching money for anybody. So that's that. I consider the matter closed. You can talk about it more if you want, but I won't talk about it anymore during this season. We can talk more in the off season. So with that being said, let's talk about the bowl games. from last week. These were the non-TCS Bowl games. Very good games we had here. So, first game of the week, we had Vestal Tech Community College going up against DBAP University. And in this one, Vestal Tech was victorious, 129 to 116. It brings Vestal Tech up to 8-6. DBAP U drops down to 7-7. Really good matchup here. Some guys, Patrick Mahomes went Patrick Mahomes, and that's pretty much the way this game went. If Patrick Mahomes did what he'd been doing all season, probably would have been a different ending to this game, but Mahomes did what Mahomes does, scored 34 points on that Thursday night game. I believe it was Thursday night game they played. So congratulations to Vestal Tech, winner of the Stainless Steel Bowl. Next bowl game we're going to talk about. Like I said, we're going to go real rapid fire on a lot of this stuff. I've got other stuff I need to be doing tonight before I catch some hours of sleep for work. So I'm not going to go over team by team, player by player kind of a thing. All right, next matchup. We had the Jacked Up Bowl. In this one, it was Land Thieves victorious over the Chicago Outfit Preparatory Academy, or COPA, 114 to 95. This finishes Land Thieves season at 9-5, and this drops Chicago Outfit down to 7-8. Once again, this was 114 to 95, giving Land Thieves the winner of the Jacked Up Bowl. Next bowl game, we had the low-scoring Tspn Bowl between Louisiana University Knights and Delta Phi Gamma. Louisiana University was victorious, 95 to 72, brings Louisiana's record to 7-7, and drops Delta Phi down to 9-5. And I know Delta Phi was mentioned a couple times in the other thread. Once again, is what it is. So, magical season for Delta Phi ends, 9-5 record. Great season for Delta Phi. Great turnaround for last year. Louisiana University increasing their record to 7-7, finishing at 500. So congrats to them. Their first season here in the league. So once again, TSPN Bowl winner, Louisiana University Knights. Congratulations there. Next matchup we had in the Beats by Dre Bowl was the Greenville Green Devils going up against Brock State University. And in this one, Greenville was victorious, 132 to 102. Greenville's record now is 8-6, finishing the season off. And for Brock State, drops down to a 7-8, going under 500 for Brock State University. But good season overall for them because they started the season pretty bad, if I remember correctly, but good bounce back for them, getting themselves into the bowl game. But unfortunately, Greenville was victorious once again, 132 to 102, getting the title and the winner of the Beats by Dre Bowl. And finally, the last game to talk about was that recruiting bowl, the very controversial recruiting bowl. And in this one, it had the Terry Tate's Pain Train going up against Grimes State University, the winners of their conferences. And in this one, Terry Tate was victorious, 145 to 102. This brings their record to 7-8 and dropped Grimes State down to 6-9. Once again, this bowl is for recruiting points. This is not for money. And Terry Tate was victorious, 145 to 102, to win the very first ever recruiting bowl. So congratulations to them. All right, now let's get into the meats and potatoes of what this week is, what this league is. This is going to be the big week for the TCAA going into obviously next week where we have our championship game. So we're going to save the game of the week for last. So in the very first matchup here, we have in the TCS Huckleberry Bowl. It is the University of Kentucky Bourbon Ballers facing Fox U2 University. And this was a called out matchup, I believe, is what we were seeing. If I recall correctly, these two presidents know each other. They wanted to face each other in this one when it was discussed during the bowl matchup. And Kentucky was getting themselves into one of these games. So we went ahead and we placed this matchup so they could face each other. Both schools are 9-5. So it'd be a very good matchup here for the Ballers. You've got Brady, Chubb, Nick Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, and Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce. Great game last week. But I believe he has now hit himself on the COVID list. So odds of him playing this week are not looking good for Kentucky. For FA, you have Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, Leonard Fournette, who is out for the season, I believe, with his ankle or leg injury. Justin Jefferson, Deontay Johnson, and David Njoku in that one there. So some changes have to be made in their lineups, but still going to be a good matchup. And like I said, if I wanted to call out Kentucky, I believe is how that one went in the matchup or in the Community Bowl game there. So we allowed it. All right, next matchup we have in the TCS Under Armour Bowl. It is Duke MU facing off against Copper Mountain Community College. Duke MU is 9-5. Copper Mountain is 10-4. For Dukem, you got Kyler Murray, Joe Mixon, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Pittman, Debo Samuel. He also has Travis Kelce, so he's got to fix that. For Copper Mountain, Josh Allen, Nick Chubb, DeAndre Hopkins, who is out, CeeDee Lamb, Cordero Patterson, and Rob Gronkowski. Great matchup here. I mean, right now they're both even. Both have players, though, that you need to replace due to injury or COVID. So big, strong matchup there in that other TCS non-playoff bowl game. Now, first playoff bowl game. And this could be a little controversy, I guess, of how these 1 through 4 is laid out. I know that was discussed in the very beginning of when we announced these, but it is what it is. So in this matchup, you have number 3, the 3 seed, SCLSU Mud Dogs, going up against the number 2 seed, Telford Tornadoes. Mud Dogs are 11-3. Telford is 10-4. For the Mud Dogs, you have Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, Marquise Brown, Brandon Cooks, and Mark Andrews. For the Tornadoes, you got Tom Brady, James Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Cordero Patterson, Jalen Waddle, and George Kittle. Very even matchup right now if their rosters stay the same that they are. Mud Dogs got the slight advantage. These two schools, when they have faced each other, the Mud Dogs are 2-1 all time against Telford. So Telford is definitely looking to even up that series and get themselves into the national title game for next week. But that's not the game of the week. This is the game of the week. Number 4, Samurai Jackson University, 11-3, going to face the number 1 seed overall, 13-1, Allen Wrench Trade School. This is going to be one heck of a match between these two schools. For Samurai, you got Mahomes, Zeke Elliott, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, and George Kittle. For Allen Wrench, you got Tom Brady. Does he bounce back after that horrific game that he had last Sunday night, getting shut out? I believe I heard the stat that was the first shutout that Tom Brady had against him since it was either 2006, 2016. It was something ridiculous. It may have been 2006, and that was against the Miami Dolphins. They lost like 21-0. That was the last time Brady was ever shut out. So I think he's going to be pissed. So you got Brady, James Conner, Devontae Adams, Deontay Johnson, Cooper Kupp, and then George Kittle. So they both got Kittle in that matchup there. This also, pending rosters being the same and everything looking the same, this is going to be a huge close matchup here with Allen Wrench favored by 2 points only. Amazingly enough, let's see, this is their first time facing each other this season, and there is no history at all between these two schools ever from what the website is telling me here. So what a way for these two schools to get their very first time facing each other right here in the semis. Number 1 versus number 4, winners going to the national championship game. So big stakes here for both of those schools. So those are your matchups this week. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty short, sweet week here. Want to make sure I address the situation that occurred earlier in the week that everyone's talking about. Like I said, I consider the situation over. No reason to bring it up anymore. You guys can do it if you want to, but case is closed. We're not making any changes for this season. We can discuss changes during the off season for next year. I'll be happy to do it. But other than that, get your lineups in. We have one game at least right now for tomorrow. I think there's games Saturday for Christmas. Normal games on Sunday. Normal games on Monday. Hope everyone has a happy holidays in the next couple of days. For those who obviously celebrate Christmas, so happy holidays there for you. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I will see everybody next week. Hope you all have a good one. Catch you later.